Commissioner Look,
Here.
Commissioner Brassad,
Here.
Commissioner West,
Here.
Commissioner Schulte,
Here.
Commissioner Meisner,
Here.
Commissioner Gamache,
Here.
Commissioner Reinert.
Here.
And we are all present and accounted for. I will note that we have a magnificent crowd here with us today in person. That's awesome. Great to see you all here. And secondly, I will note that I don't say this at every meeting, and I probably should, that public comments are always welcome at our committee meetings. For a schedule of those committee meetings, please go to our website and type in calendar, and it will bring up our committee calendars where you know you can come and comment at any time you would like. With that, we will move on to item 4 on your agenda, which is tax claims and abatements. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Brassad. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Reinert. Is there further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Next on your agenda, we'll consider accepting the regular claims paid, over $500 in purchase card claims paid for the period ending September 13th of 2022. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Look. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Meisner. Further discussion? Seeing none, this requires a roll call vote.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
And that too passes unanimously. Item 6, we'll approve the minutes from the August 23rd, 2022 County Board meeting.
So moved.
There's a motion by Commissioner West to approve the minutes as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Brassad. Further discussion, questions, additions, or deletions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? The minutes are adopted unanimously. Under Chair's remarks today, is the recognition of some of the men and women who have spent much of their careers in service to the people of Anoka County. The employees we recognize and honor today have been here for up to 45 years, which is truly remarkable. And on behalf of the residents of Anoka County, it's our privilege to publicly thank you today. I'd like to invite Deputy County Administrator Dee Goodman to lead our recognition program today.
Thank you, Commissioner, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I call on commissioners, I present our Years of Service Award. Some of our recipients are not able to be here today, but I'd like to take a moment, call their names, and recognize the service that they've been here for. For the first group, it's 30 years. Alyssa Sobiaka, social worker, development disabilities and community social services and behavioral health. 30 years of John Schlitman, supervisor, community corrections. 30 years, Jerry Peterson, department director, community social services and behavioral health. 30 years, David Lohr, supervisor, development disabilities waiver, community social services and behavioral health. 30 years, Tracy Eckberg, paralegal, examiner of titles office, property records and taxation. 30 years, Roberta Besmer, 911 dispatch, emergency communications. 30 years, John Piltz, patrol sergeant, sheriff's office. 35 years for Thomas Thor, ETS support technician, information technologies. 35 years, Terry Kite, imaging systems administrator, information technologies. And 35 years, Nancy Hansen, public assistance program coordinator with economic assistance. So I think we're good. All right, so on to the fun stuff. These are the people that are attending today. We'd like to honor the 18 employees in attendance today. Thank you so much for joining us. As I call your name, please come up and accept your award. Commissioner Reinert, you are up first to present.
Okay.
So for 30 years, Meryl Robinson, social worker, adult mental health with Human Services, Community Social Services, and Behavioral Health. For For 30 years, Cindy Caesar, Division Manager, Human Services Administration.
I should also add that Cindy received from the Association of Minnesota Counties this year a top award. I can't remember what the name of it was, but remember?
I don't remember the title of it, but
We know you got
a
it.
very prestigious award.
Pop quiz as we have every once in a while. So congratulations.
30 years, actually, Commissioner Meisner, I'll let you come on down.
Come on down.
I am not Bob Barker.
Right? Come on down.
For 30 years, we have Lisa Wagner, Human Resources Manager, Administration. For 30 years, we have Tony Lahr, Assistant Director, License and Passport Services, Administration. Commissioner Gamache. And Beth, I'm going to do my best. Wherever you are, I want you to know that Eric wrote it out, hyphened all the way through for me, for you. So we've got 30 years. Beth Blumen Radar, Supervisor, Juvenile Court Diversion, Human Services, Community Corrections. And for 30 years, we have Lori Germschied, Public Health Nurse, Family Home Visit, Human Services, Public Health and Environmental Services. And 30 years, Mary Evers, Juvenile Court Diversion Program Supervisor, Human Services, Community Corrections. Years, we have Jill Adams, Social Worker, Adult Mental Health, Human Services, Community Social Services, and Behavioral Health. Next up is 30 years, Darcy Hokanen, Lead Program Specialist, Adult Dislocated Worker and Youth in Human Services Job Training Center. Next up, 30 years, Julie Allen, Enhanced Treatment Program Social Worker, Human Services, Community Corrections. Next up is 30 years, William Keller, also known as Bill. Come on up. Central Services Director, Finance and Central Services. Next up, 30 years, Tracy Roloff, Principal Administrative Assistant, Human Services, Community Corrections. Years, Joel Johnson, Long-Term Services and Support Program Specialist with Human Services, Community Social Services, and Behavioral Health. Next up, we have 35 years. Nancy Lee, social worker, permanency program, human services, community social services, and behavioral health. Next up, 35 years, Marlene Keller, Associate Administrative Assistant with Human Services, Community Social Services, and Behavioral Health. And for our last two, we have 35 years, Carol Fleischer, Associate Administrative Assistant, Human Services, Economic Assistance. And 35 years, Lori Brovold, Public Health Nursing Senior Manager, Public Health and Environmental Services.
Wow, thank you, Dee. You look at that, look at those numbers of years of service. These aren't jobs, these are careers, real careers, successful, not just for you, but for us. For the citizens of Anoka County, the work you've done is impressive, and your dedication to Anoka County is real and obvious. We truly, truly appreciate that. I would add that we are incredibly fortunate to have so many long-time, loyal employees in Anoka County. Your breadth of knowledge is so impressive, and it's amazing to realize you represent 890 years of Anoka County history and expertise. Thank you again for your service and allowing us to celebrate you today. Thank you. And the comment that this is the nicest crowd we've had in here in quite a while. In more than one way. It's very nice to be on the heels of those COVID years when we were doing this, just saying names and nobody in the room and social distancing when necessary. And it's just good to see everybody back together and to have that warmth and camaraderie of friends and fellow workers. It's just so good to see. It's good to see, and it's great to celebrate you today. So thanks again. For our last item today, we're going to take a moment to note that September is Workforce Development Month in Anoka County. I serve as the president of the Minnesota Association of Workforce Boards. Yes, that says MOB. I'm the president of the MOB. And in this capacity, I have learned just how crucial it is for our state to have a workforce development system that expertly serves our population so we can compete in the global economy and achieve economic equity. Focusing now on workforce development is essential to our future. By 2035, more than 500,000 Minnesotans will have reached the age of 65, and many of them will be retiring. It's estimated that this wave of retirements will reduce the working age population from 62 to 57%. To prepare for this shift, employers and our state workforce development system must work together to create an inclusive workforce where all are welcome. We must also ensure cutting-edge programs and training are readily available for employers and people entering or looking to move up in our state's workforce. Thankfully, our state has resources like the MOB and Career Force locations, which invest heavily in education, training, and career advancement. In the coming years, it's certainly going to be a challenge to fill all the position that needs to be filled in our state. Here today to talk about the importance of workforce development in our county is Nicole Swanson, Director of the Anoka County Jobs Training Center. Thank you for being here, Nicole. Take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board. My name is Nicole Swanson. I'm the Director of the Anoka County Job Training Center, and I'm staff to the Anoka County Workforce Development Board. And I'm thankful to be in front of you today to let our community know what is happening with the state of Minnesota, locally in Anoka County, and how the Anoka County Job Training Center and the Career Force in Blaine are here to assist them. I want to give you first a look at what is happening in the state of Minnesota, and then I'll move into some local data. And as you know, when COVID hit in March 2020, in May of 2020, Minnesota hit 10.8% unemployment. It was the highest in my career, and it was devastating in many, many different ways to the state of Minnesota. And then the good news is, in June and July of this year, Minnesota hit an all-time low of 1.8%. What that means is moving into COVID, we were already looking at a workforce shortage of about 230,000 individuals. And where we are today, Minnesota's labor force is about 74,000, still below those pre-pandemic levels. It's estimated since March of 2020, 60,000 individuals ages 55 to 65 took an early retirement. And you can just imagine how devastating that is when you think about the knowledge that left the workforce at that time. And although we are at record low unemployment, we're still facing barriers to workforce, one of which is a reduced workforce participation rate, both with young people and specifically with women. We still have high concerns related to COVID. We're still facing daycare shortages, especially in greater Minnesota, but still having significant childcare issues. And also the return to work related to school. We just had school return. Many schools are not doing hybrid, and it's really looking at what families can do to balance that work and school. And so we'll see how that then impacts the return to work. And then the good news is we did have a lot of individuals take entrepreneurship, but then they step out of the labor market. But there are some opportunity workforces still in front of us, specifically individuals with disabilities. It's estimated around 300,000 individuals with disability either have not entered the workforce or are working part-time. BIPOC communities, Black, Indigenous people of color, and also immigrants and refugees. We have a lot of opportunity here to find meaningful employment at sustainable, livable wages. Older workers, that workforce that I mentioned earlier, 60,000, 55 to 65. How can we slow that down, or how can we bring those individuals back, even part-time, into the workforce? And then also justice impact, returning citizens. Some specific information related to Anoka County, and in this chart you'll see in January 2020 was when we started to see the reduction of what was happening in COVID. We just didn't know it was COVID. And on the far right-hand side, where we were in July of 2022, the yellow signifies those unemployed, the blue employed. And this is adjusted to where we are. And still you can see in Anoka County, we're just about, if you look at the total cumulative, just about 3,000 individuals where we were pre-pandemic. This information is from Tim O'Neill, who is a labor market information analyst with DEED. And the data continues to tell some of the story, not the full story, but I think it's very helpful when you look at that impact. And here's what's happening related to wages. It's estimated that wages during this time frame have increased around 5%. And you'll see on the left-hand side, the industry, it varies. The employee coverage, either the full company in that range of industry or specifically possibly like production. And then you'll see the average earnings. The information on the bottom signifies about a 5.6% average, and then on top of this, you're looking at 8.5% inflation. That will continue to vary as well. And of course, it's going to vary from industry to industry. And I think this is some interesting information when you look at what's happening in the state of Minnesota, and then specifically what's happening in Anoka County. And just speckled a few of the municipalities with Andover, Blaine, Coon Rapids, Fridley, and Ramsey. And you can see Anoka County in the metro area continues to be very responsive with our workforce. We've talked about it a couple times at the Workforce Development Board. Construction, right? It's that big industry of construction, road construction. And we're actually trying to utilize it as a retention tool for individuals who live in Anoka County. And you can see that Anoka County's industries, businesses have been very, very responsive in a variety of ways. And the good news, I think, for Anoka County is that we have very responsive, innovative businesses. Our chambers are very active. And the staff at the Anoka County Job Training Center and Career Force in Blaine are actively working with employers every day looking for opportunities. I want to highlight some of our job seeker services. And many times, as staff can attest, we are kind of Minnesota's secret. People don't know that we're here until they need us. So special thanks to County Communications and all of the team that really help us tell our story. And this is just a highlight of some of the work that the staff does. We provide services for free to the public, services for free to businesses. That's first and foremost. And then you can see on the left-hand side of this flyer, we provide a variety of training opportunities from young people to adults to seniors and everyone in between. We provide workshops, resume assistance, interview assistance, how to navigate LinkedIn, how to navigate looking for work online, how to navigate looking for work on your phone. I mean, it just continues to turn. We have seen so many changes during COVID, and we're still in that COVID recovery. More to come related to that. But our career services, and here's the first highlight, careerforcemn.com. If individuals go to that website, they can get information regarding Minnesota's workforce development system. So that means services that we provide. That means services provided by our local community and technical colleges or adult basic ed and other community-based organizations. It's meant as a one-stop online system that individuals can look at. I've already mentioned the resume assistance, but below you'll see the job search assistance. And one of the pieces that I want to highlight is related to providing virtual and in-person services. There are a lot of individuals who want in-person services, and we are there to provide that. But we also provide online assistance. So during COVID, not knowing that COVID was going to happen, we did a business continuity plan, really looking at how we could respond to the public's needs, because at that point, we knew there were a lot of individuals that wanted to look for different work and needed help, but didn't know how to do that when they're working full-time. And so the team put together an online kiosk system that individuals can go on and provide some basic information related to their interests. And within 24 hours, business hours, but really even shorter than that, a qualified career counselor from the staff connects with that individuals with their questions. And individuals can also get information related to our hiring events, which are back in person. Just want to highlight some of our opportunities, our work experience program, both for young people, for adults, and seniors 55 plus. These are positions within the community. They're individual based on interest need, consumer interest, and the wages are paid through our programs. We also offer internships, again, with private and public companies, really looking at not only jobs, but as you mentioned, Mr. Chair, a career. What are some interesting options for you? And although I don't have the answers for businesses related to the workforce shortage, but the message to the public is it is a great time to look for work. It is a great time to explore opportunities and to really gain those experiences. And this is that give and take. Individuals are giving their time, and yes, they get paid for it, but businesses really get an opportunity from it too. And they both walk away with a win-win. And then, of course, our career pathway programs, which is referenced as Pathways to Prosperity. At this time, our career navigators, along with our partners at Anoka Technical College and others in the community, we're providing short-term training in certified nursing assistant, Class B trucking, and welding. And then, of course, the job search assistance and placement assistance that comes along with that. And all of these programs provide different supports based on individual needs. Some need childcare, some need transportation assistance, some need work supports that vary. And those are individualized plans with staff. The other big part of our business is we serve businesses. So we have two customers, right? Career seekers and businesses. And this is at a glance of what we provide to businesses in our community. And first and foremost, we want to listen to businesses and help be that message to those other stakeholders at the state or at the federal level. And so the Workforce Development Board is represented by a majority of businesses and really are that voice for Anoka County's workforce development system. But on the job training opportunities, these are great opportunities for businesses to interview a candidate, and then we enter a short-term contract, typically about 5 to 6 weeks, that business is agreeing to provide the on-the-job training skills for that individual, and they pay half the wages, and then our program pays the other half. And in between all of that, they get the support of the Job Training Center team. And at the end, the individual gets a job with benefits. Our incumbent worker training, this is a very successful program in Anoka County that we continue to expand. And we really are working together as a workforce development system, the Job Training Center, our community and technical college, adult basic ed, but really looking at what that business needs to provide additional training for their existing workforce so that that individual can fill a gap in their business. And then what we do is behind the scenes then provide a pipeline of workforce to fill those opportunities that are vacated. But again, right now you're looking at hiring individuals, but businesses are really looking at retaining individuals too. I already mentioned the work experience program and the internships, but the on-site hiring events, we've been doing those successfully for years. And I really just want to highlight the innovative staff that we have at the Job Training Center, continually to think out of the box and be responsive, which is quite difficult right now. I mean, people and businesses have a lot of needs, and it's a stressful work environment. But again, you know that at the end, helping individuals get training or get a job is really what it's all about. So we focus on that mission. But we have these on-site hiring events twice a month. They vary from industry to industry, and individuals are actually walking away with jobs. They're quite successful. And then we offer other statewide and federal work opportunity tax credits as well. Want to provide a little bit more information related to the virtual and in-person services. We continue to look at expanding these as are needed. We provide assistance in the community, at schools, at libraries. We can't be everywhere, so we'll provide a light touch in these other environments, but really want to pull individuals back to our larger system to really look at how we can co-enroll them in different programs. We have the state-of-the-art career lab. We're continuing to social distance, but again have internet connections, email access to phones and copy machines and printers. And we still are dealing with a high number of individuals that truly do not have access to digital literacy. And what that means is applying for a job on a phone is extremely difficult. It actually looks different than you are doing it on a desktop. And so the staff of the Job Training Center really work with individuals to navigate this. I mentioned we have our bi-monthly hiring events, and then I just wanted to highlight two different email or two internet systems here. Of course, I mentioned the careerforcemn.com/Blaine. That will bring you right to our location, and then our kiosk, which is online, which is anokacounty.us/HEC apply. So before I end, I want to just again thank our staff for their innovativeness, their hard work, their time, their connections, and continuing to meet our mission. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Well, thank you again, Nicole, for speaking about workforce development in Anoka County and for providing information about the many services available to career seekers, employers, employees throughout the county, Job Training Center, and the career force locations around the state. You did mention that this is free to job seekers and employers. But I was taught there is no free lunch.
It's true.
So with that, I will state that you're already paying for it. WIOA, which is the Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act that passed through Congress years ago, appropriates dollars to DEED, the Department of Employment and Economic Development here in Minnesota. And that money is then filtered down through the Minnesota Association of Workforce Boards, or MOB, to the different workforce areas across the state, of which Anoka County is one of those. So you are paying for this. You've already paid for it, so I suggest using it. Get your money's worth. Two things I learned: there's no free lunch, and if you are paying, you should eat it. So,
Thank you.
Let's show up at the workforce centers. Let's make sure our employers know about it. It's a heck of a resource for employers to get those interns, to find those employees that are hard to find right now. Thank you again, Nicole. Really appreciate it.
That's okay.
At this time, I'd like to offer Resolution 2022-110, proclaiming September Workforce Development Month in Anoka County, and ask that my fellow commissioners join me in support. The resolution has been offered and is before you. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That resolution has been adopted. That does complete chair's remarks, and now we'll move on to committee reports, beginning with the Management Committee, and we will go to Commissioner West.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have one action item on the regular agenda. It is a new position in administration in the medical examiner's office, and it's effective September 19th, 2022. It is one FTE office investigator, grade B010.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Brasted. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gamache. Is there further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brasted,
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Aye. And we have an additional agenda, and the item on there is adopting Resolution 2022 M16. It's a resolution approving the tentative agreement between the County of Anoka and Law Enforcement Labor Services, Inc. It's representing the Sheriff's Office Licensed Sergeants Bargaining Unit for the calendar years 2022 through 2024, and it is contract C0009474.
Is there an offer of the resolution?
I'll offer the resolution.
The resolution has been offered. Is there further discussion? I would simply say this is another successful 3-year bargaining agreement, so we can look forward to doing this again in 2.5 years. Seeing no further discussion, all those, this is a roll call vote as well.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brasted,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye. And that item passes.
And Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you. The additional agenda and the Management Committee report on the regular agenda have been completed, which moves us to the Parks Committee report and Commissioner Gamache.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Parks Committee met on September 6th at the beautiful Coon Lake County Park on a beautiful morning in September. We have one action item. The committee recommends that the county board approves the Park and Trails Legacy Funding Agreements for 3 projects within Anoka County's regional park system. First, it's $1,051,678 to replace culverts and reconstruct a trail at Coon Rapids Dam Regional Park. That's Anoka County Contract C 0009385. Second one is $655,000 for Rice Creek Chain of Lakes Reserve Entrance Road and boat launch improvements, as well as enhancements to the beach area. That's Anoka County Contract C 0009386. And lastly, $125,000 for the second phase of the Wargo Nature Center improvements, Anoka County Contract C 0009387. All of this money is coming from the Parks and Trail Legacy Funding and has no county dollars directly involved. So we're using these dollars to get these projects done. The Coon Rapids Dam Regional Park, that construction needed to be done, and we've had it on the agenda for a while because of culverts. The culverts are having problems with the runoff from the Mississippi River, and we actually had to close a trail that crossed over the creek leading to the Mississippi River because the bridge was about to collapse. So with getting those things done, we're going to get that trail loop back in place for the residents that walk in that area. I know we've had some complaints because we had to redirect them, but we'll get that finished. The work is the second part of the work on the Rice Creek Chain of Lakes Park entrance to the reserve there because we also have some work to do on the boat launch as well. But as many of you have seen, that road was in pretty bad shape, pretty crumbling asphalt all the way along, almost in some areas looked like it was almost a dirt road. So we do need to get that done. And so now this is the last piece to finish that project as well. And then, as you probably all saw from what we did at Wargo Nature Center last time, we upgraded part of the Wargo Nature Center, made some of those improvements. This is the second phase to that, so we're going to have a beautiful additional things inside the Wargo Nature Center. Jeff Perry is here to add any comments. Jeff, did I miss anything? Anything you wanted to add on to that, or just introduce yourself again?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My name is Jeff Perry, Park Director for Anoka County. And Commissioner Gamache did a fine job explaining all of the projects. At this point in time, I have nothing to add unless there's any questions.
Is there a motion to approve?
Mr. Chair, I'd move to approve all three of those contracts.
A motion by Commissioner Reinert. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner West. Further discussion, Commissioner Meisner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, just a question then, where are we in the bucket of legacy funds in terms of like how much do we have left and just ballpark?
Jeff.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Meisner. This is an annual appropriation. It generally ranges based on formula between 1.5 and 1.8 million per year that Anoka County has access to from the state through the Met Council to Anoka County. This is constitutional amendment money that was approved back in 2008 and will continue through 2034. So we have 12 years left in the program, and it's been a tremendous asset and benefit not only to Anoka County and the regional park system, but to the entire state of Minnesota.
Follow up,
Yeah,
Commissioner Meisner.
thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, so thank you. So then this is the annual, like you said, appropriation. We're spending it. Next year will be the same process again.
Correct.
Very good, thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing none, this requires a roll call vote.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
And that item passes.
The rest of the information is all informational items. I did want to point out that the committee was presented with an award of excellence from the Minnesota Recreation and Park Association for the Bunker Beach Water Park Facility Renovation Project. I'm glad Jeff's here because he obviously helped lead that project to get that done in a timely manner and get us back open up again and having the new pool. But all of the board, I believe, deserves some credit for this work that we got done. I know when we started this project, Commissioner Look was still on the Parks Committee, and we had many discussions about how we were going to, what we wanted to maybe add as we were expanding the wave pool. But the work needed to be done, badly needed to be done, because after 30 years of that facility being open, the actual concrete part that produces the waves that makes the wave pool move was beginning to crumble. And we did some work to try to fix that as best we could, but we knew down the line we were going to have to do something to totally replace it. Minnesota winters and the fact that you're having a lot of banging going on inside there just doesn't work well with concrete. So we did move that forward. We got that project done. We did an expansion of the wave pool, adding to the little area for young people so that they could be close to their parents if the kids, half of the kids are in the wave pool and then a young one's in this small pool, smaller pool that's more of just a wading pool for kids. And then we heated it. We have never heated it before, and in the early June months or even the late August, sometimes it's a little cool. But the heating does help. We had a record year when we reopened in 2021. And this year, we're probably close to that as well. And I don't know if Jeff's got an update on numbers yet, but we had another great year. The weather really cooperated. We had a lot of good days and not a lot of rain. So we did receive awards from the Minnesota Recreation and Park Association, and I just want to thank everybody that worked so hard on that project and approved it and moved it forward to get it done. So Jeff, did you have anything to add on Bunker today?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, we had a very good season this year in 2022. Last year was a record-breaking year with approximately 151,000 visits, and we're still crunching the numbers from August, but it appears we're going to be hovering around the 145,000 visit mark, which is second best record since 1988. So thank you again for your support. It's greatly appreciated in your leadership to spearhead this project, and it was recognized at the state level as one of the top projects in the state. So just wanted to recognize the board for your hard work on this as well.
And thank you again, Jeff, for the hard work and all your staff, because this has been, you know, with, as we were talking about the job force earlier and how many people we need to hire every year to run Bunker Beach, it has been difficult. We're lucky that we have the school districts and the swim teams and those all around the area that will be a good source for our lifeguards, but they also have their own schooling to go to. So when we get towards the end of August, we start seeing people going back to high school or going back to college, and we lose them. So we did have to struggle at the end. I think the last week we had to stagger some hours a little bit, so I apologize to any of the residents that couldn't get out there in the last week of August. But that was due to the fact that we made sure we make sure that we have enough people working and that it's a safe environment for everybody. But I want to thank all the people that work out there every year. It's a tough job. You're dealing with the public, and they're out there trying to have a great time and have fun, and it gets hot, and people get maybe a little cranky. But for the most part, they're great, and they're great to work with. So we really appreciate the work of the young people that work out there and all the people that help keep Bunker Beach and all our parks going all year long. It's not just the summer hours. We also have fall, winter sports as well. So as we're moving out of the summer to the fall, everybody can start seeing the great change in our parks. But I want to just thank the Bunker Beach people for the great work that they did. And Mr. Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Gamache. We will now turn to Commissioner Brasted for the Public Safety Committee Chair Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first item I have today is that I would recommend approval and execution of the 2023 law enforcement contract with the City of Andover for a term of January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023 in the amount of $3,347,000 at $3,347,315. This is contract C0009429. This has been a great partnership that has been in place since 1974, and I'm happy to move that.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gamache. Is there further discussion? Commissioner Gamache.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This contract, over the years, I've seen how much it's been growing since when I was mayor for 14 years. So, but it always has been a great contract with the Sheriff's Department. We've had great services from them over the years, and I really appreciate the work that they've done in all that time. So I'm more than happy to second this one.
Very good. Any further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Opposed.
Commissioner Brasted,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
That item passes.
The next item is that I would recommend adoption of Resolution 2022-PS06, accepting dedicated donation from Holistic Veterinary Care. They've donated $900, and the purpose of this donation is to help assist in reuniting canines with their owners.
Is there an offer of the resolution?
I'll offer the resolution.
Resolution's been offered by Commissioner Gamache. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That passes unanimously.
Next item is I would recommend adoption of Resolution 2022-PS07, accepting dedicated donation from Anoka County Agricultural Society. This is a $4,400 donation from the Agricultural Society to be used for security at the Anoka County Fair.
Is there an offer of the resolution?
I'll offer it.
The resolution has been offered by Commissioner Look and is before you now. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
And that concludes my public safety report.
Thank you, Commissioner Brasted. That brings us back to our main agenda, item 9, where I will turn over the duties to our attorney, Brian France.
Chair Schulte. At this time, I will convene a public hearing to allow comment concerning proposed changes to the Public Health and Environmental Services ordinances and other administrative ordinances. For the record, I wish to note that notice was published on August 26, 2022 in the official Anoka County newspaper, the Anoka Union, giving the public notice of this public hearing. And I see that Janelle Hubbard, the Director of Public Health and Environmental Services, has stepped forward to the podium to address any questions from the board. I'd start out by asking Ms. Hubbard, has your staff or you received any questions or comments related to this item prior to the public hearing?
No.
Thank you. Does any member of the, did you wish to address the ordinances?
Oh, go ahead.
Does any member of the board have a question for Ms. Hubbard about the ordinances? Okay. I now invite members of the public to come forward and address the board on the proposed changes to the ordinances. Does any member of the public wish to come forward and make a comment? Are there any members of the public wishing to come forward and ask any questions, make any comments? I'll ask one last time. Chief Deputy Helwig, want to come forward? Any members of the public who wish to make a comment at this time? All right, hearing none, unless there are any comments from Director Hubbard or questions from the board, I would turn it back over to you, Chair Schulte, to consider item 9A on the agenda.
Thank you, Attorney Franz. Before us are 3 ordinances, ordinance 2022-2, -3, and -4. Is there any motion to approve all 3 ordinances as a package?
So moved.
I have a motion by Commissioner Meisner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gamache. Further discussion, or if anybody has an issue where they want to separate these, speak now. Seeing none, we are taking them as a group. I see no more discussion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All 3 ordinances are adopted. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, Brian. That moves us to item 10 on the agenda, where we'll consider approving the following liquor license application as reviewed by and consented to by the township sheriff and attorney. And this is for the Orono Lions Club by Bradley Hanson. It's a one-day on-sale 3.2 malt liquor license for the township of Linwood. Is there a motion to approve the application?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move approval of the application.
Commissioner Reinert has moved to approve it. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gamache. Is there further discussion? This is for the date of September 17th, 2022. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That liquor license application has been granted. And with nothing else to come before the county board, we are adjourned.